Now, I would like to talk about breastfeeding, and joining me to do that, we have Gladys Mugambi, who is the head of nutrition at the Ministry of Health. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
And we also have Wana Schutz. I'll maybe avoid pronouncing the second name. Let me just stick to one, the one I can pronounce. But he is a UNICEF representative in Kenya. Good to have you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Let me start with you, Gladys, and maybe just to get a general idea, first of all, whether breastfeeding is on the increase or the decrease. Given the kind of lifestyles that we're living today, can we say that it's on the increase or decreasing?
Breastfeeding is on the increase, especially exclusive breastfeeding, whereby a mother is supposed to breastfeed without giving the baby any food until the baby is 6 months. That is on the increase. We used to be at 32% in the last Kenya Demographic Health Survey, and in 2014 we moved up to 61%, which is double what we used to practice. And there is an improvement even in the use of bottles to feed the babies. So I would say we are on the increase.
We're on the increase?
Yes.
Okay, and that's quite a huge increase from 32% to 61%.
Yes.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
Coming to you, Wana, what is the importance? Why is it so important for exclusive breastfeeding?
Well, there are many advantages. First, breastfeeding is the most ideal way to feed your baby. Nothing compares to breast milk. It protects the child against getting diseases. It therefore cuts the number of children who die in the first year of life. It protects the child against getting diseases later in life, such as diabetes, obesity. It also improves intelligence of a child. And on top of that, it also protects mothers from getting certain cancers. So the advantages of breastfeeding are numerous, and therefore, as the UNICEF, let's say the UN Children's Agency, we firmly stand behind the recommendations that all children should be breastfed by their mother.
Okay, you've mentioned that it helps in maybe avoiding certain cancers. What cancers are those?
I think it's ovarian cancer, to name one, and I must admit that I forgot one or two of the others, but okay. Ovarian cancer for sure.
Okay. Generally speaking, Gladys, what has caused the increase? Is it awareness? Is it that mothers now are more aware of the benefits?
The leaders in this country are committed to promoting breastfeeding and generally to nutrition. There have been laws passed to make sure that our mothers are not influenced by the private sector in using other milks which are manufactured. So we have a Breast Milk Substitute Act, which we are implementing as a ministry. And also, we've come up with a nice plan. We developed a plan from 2012 to 2017. And in it, we've guided even the counties on how they're going to pass information to the mothers. And we build capacity so that the health workers are passing the correct message. So the mothers who are going to the clinic are getting information, and they are supported to be able to continue breastfeeding.
All right.
Yeah.
Wana, now, I imagine the reason why breastfeeding is very important is mainly the nutritional value it gives to the child.
Yes.
But we also have a challenge in Africa, and especially some of the poorer areas, where you'll find even the mother does not have adequate nutrition for them to breastfeed. How do we overcome that?
Well, you're correct in saying that the nutritional status of the mother is important. I think in Kenya about a quarter of women have undesirably low nutritional status. So we need to work to improve that. We need to avoid mothers falling ill. We need to support them during pregnancy to reduce their workload. And we need to make sure that their food intake is improved during pregnancy. Okay. And of course during the time they breastfeed.
All right, Gladys, there was a proposal, and I mentioned that earlier, where it was going to be made into law that companies and even corporates would somehow have to have a place for breastfeeding, maybe storage, a place to express. How far has that gone?
We're also waiting for that to be signed into a law, though there are discussions around that and how it can be implemented. But that is the best way we could help mothers who are working, because now we have, as a developing country, we are having more mothers going to work. So they require that space so that they are comfortable, they're able to express the milk, and they're not forced to get other alternatives for their babies. So that is something that we are encouraging. Last year we were talking about mother support at the workplace, and some of the companies have actually taken it up. Like we had to market at Safaricom, where they have a space for the children. And now we have about 10 other companies that have taken it up, and they are already implementing, even without the law. So we, as a ministry, we want to just encourage that. Even government offices, we create space so that mothers are happy and they're able to breastfeed.
Okay. Wanda, there's some countries where breastfeeding is really encouraged to a point where you can even almost buy milk from mothers, because there's a system that has been put in place. I think we're still far from getting there in Kenya. What do you think we need to do to ensure that it is encouraged right from the bottom to the top?
Well, I think it's important to realize that Kenya is doing actually quite well in exclusive breastfeeding. About 60% of mothers exclusively breastfeed, which is higher than the global average of about less than 50%. I think that the increasing the awareness of mothers, of healthcare providers is important. And I think it's important to make sure that the availability of breast milk substitutes, such as infant formula, is really regulated in Kenya. I think those things, together with all the existing laws and regulations on maternity protection and so on, will go a long way in helping to improve the breastfeeding rates in Kenya.
Okay. Gladys, there obviously are reasons as to why it's at 61% instead of 90 or 100%.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that possibly mothers are going through that makes them not breastfeed?
Okay, there are some cultural barriers whereby mothers are not really encouraged to breastfeed. Other foods are introduced in the middle. So you find when a child is sick, instead of the child getting the medication, they start introducing other foods or water. When the baby is crying, they want to give water so that the baby is comfortable. So that interferes with exclusive breastfeeding. So that is part of it. And then the working mothers and young mothers who want to be left free very early so that the child they can go on with their life. But if they really understand what what breastfeeding does to their babies, then I think they will change. And I think that's why we are having
Creating the awareness.
Yes.
All right.
The other thing is mothers don't know that they can express milk and keep it for their children. And as a country, I think even the culture of expressing milk and keeping it has not been really taken up. So we'd like to create more awareness and even create milk banks, something we are trying, so that even those children who are born at the hospital and the mothers are not able to breastfeed, they have breast milk available for them other than other milks.
Is breast milk from any mother as good as that from the mother?
Yes. It's as long as it's tested and it's safe, milk is milk from the mother.
Okay.
It's just the way we take milk from a cow. It's from any cow, the milk
But one
is
might
milk.
argue if it's not from, I'm just trying to imagine from a layman's perspective, that it is good from the mother to the child.
Yes.
But like you've mentioned, if it's like any milk from any other cow, it's like milk from a cow, then is milk from another mother any better than milk from a cow, for example?
Yes, that is better because milk from a mother is, the nutrients are the same actually for all the mothers, and they're the one. That's the milk that is meant for the baby.
Okay.
The milk from the cow is meant for the calf. So if you get it from a mother, it's actually better than when you get it from a cow.
Okay, you wanted to add on to something on that one?
No, I think there was one issue you raised earlier. I think I wanted to underline the fact that women who suffer from HIV, but who are on antiretroviral medication, can safely breastfeed. And I think that is important because that will guarantee that the children of those mothers are also given the benefits of breast milk.
Okay. You mentioned formula, which is something I think that is on the increase even in the country. How safe are they, and at what point should one introduce formula?
According to me, you shouldn't introduce formula. You should stick to breast milk if you can at all. Of course, if there are limitations, if there are certain problems, then indeed formula should be available for a child, but it is preferable for a baby to receive breast milk from the mother.
Okay. So Gladys, one of the reasons you'll find that mothers probably introduce formula at an early age is when the child is not able to, they're not satisfied by breast milk, because some mothers are not able to produce as much as they should.
Yes.
Is that a time to introduce? And how would you advise mothers who cannot produce enough milk? What do they need to do?
Mothers who cannot produce enough milk need to breastfeed. Breastfeeding is what will make the milk come. If a mother stays away from the baby for a long time, then the milk disappears. So mothers are supposed to eat well, have their normal 3 meals per day, snacks in between, take in a lot of liquids, and relax so that they're able to produce the milk. Just the way we treat the cows, we try our best to make sure the cow is comfortable. We should also make sure that our women who are breastfeeding are supported. So they also need support from the family. So if they're able to get all this support and they are able to eat well, they can produce enough milk. So except in cases where a mother is sick and the doctor can advise how the mother should take care of herself. But to sustain that milk production, a mother should continuously breastfeed or express the milk. If you're traveling, you get the milk out so that more milk can be produced.
Okay. Do things like a stress factor possibly reduce milk? Like, especially looking at a working mother.
Yeah.
Maybe the environment within the office is one that increases her stress. Is that likely to reduce her production of milk?
Yeah, if a mother is stressed, the milk production will be reduced. That's why I'm saying we really need to support them. They need to be supported at home and at the workplace. And what we recommend is that when they go back to work, they need an environment where the other workers are encouraging them and giving them lighter work and giving them some time off to go and take care of the baby. And that just takes place for a short while, and the mother can come back to work as usual. Yeah.
Werner, in terms of world over, what is the recommended time for a mother to take time off work for them to at least be able to take care of that child effectively? Because breastfeeding is not just giving the child milk, but it's that love and nurturing of the baby.
I think there's a quite wide variation in what happens across countries in the world. Some countries don't even have laws. Some countries have 6 weeks, some 3 months, some have 6 months. I think the longer the better. As Gladys said, if you are stressed and if you have too much work to do, it may have an impact on breastfeeding. So 6 months would obviously be ideal, but I realize that many countries will not be able to do so, or it's difficult for women to take off that long.
Okay. We know that through the Ministry of Health that there's an introduction of paternity leave, which hopefully helps the mother also, have a bit of help and just that support. Do you think that is helpful now ultimately to the child?
Yes, that is in the Employment Act. And all employers are supposed to give the mothers leave. And when they combine with the annual leave, they're actually able to stay at home for about 5.5 months. That is the duration for Kenya, almost 6 months that we are recommending. And after that, then when the mother comes back, we should be allowing the mothers to go back home earlier and take care of the baby. So that is being implemented. And the issue of paternity leave, maybe the men need to understand why they've been given the paternity leave. It's to go and support the mother so that she's able to breastfeed. So most of the times, the men do not take it as a big issue.
Maybe they don't know what they're there to do.
Yes.
It's just time off.
Yeah.
Go play golf.
No, it's time to help the mother so that she can relax and continue breastfeeding. Yeah.
All right. So because of time, we'll have to wind up. Maybe your closing comments and advice just regarding breastfeeding and possibly the benefits that one is likely to realize.
Well, I hope that the progress in Kenya will continue, so that in maybe 2 years' time we'll see that 80% of Kenyan women breastfeed exclusively, or even maybe more. I think all the right things are in place for this to happen, and the benefits will be incredible, not only in terms of life saved of young children, but also in terms of the economy. For households, you don't need to give money to infant formula, and the cost savings for children who do not fall ill, not only in early life, but also later on. If you don't suffer from diabetes, if you're not obese, those things will give enormous benefits.
All right, thank you very much, Gladys Mugambi, who is Head of Nutrition, Ministry of Health. Thank you for joining us. And also Warner, who's the UNICEF representative in Kenya. Thank you for joining us this morning and just highlighting on the importance of breast